Guys, how you doing? This is episode 101 Mindset. This is the FAISON podcast, and I am Malik FAISON. I'm 23 years old, a proud father of one child. Love my son Kyrie FAISON. I work hard. I'm a hard worker and I'm an entrepreneur as well. My bracelets are right here, Color Power. And today we have my special guest, my cousin, my wonderful, beautiful cousin.
Hi guys, my name's Nick and I'm a jewelry designer, also an entrepreneur. I make extravagant neck pieces, earrings, clothes, and shoes. And today we have some very interesting topics for you guys.
All right, well, our topics we will go through today is marriage taken serious in this generation. Next, do's and don'ts on what is considered cheating. And lastly, is marijuana being accepted more? Is it good or bad thing? So today, the first topic, we're going to talk about marriage. And in my opinion, I feel like marriage is not taken serious in this generation because our generation is social media fulfilled with more so of a perception of what it is to be when it's really not, and people are rushing into things they really don't want to be into, and it's all about really looks and the lust and really perception on other people. What do you think?
Like people don't take marriage seriously anymore. Like you don't hear people like even thinking about that. Like you don't hear people like working towards that. Like it's more so about like, like they just want to, just have sex. Like it's just like instant gratification. Like you don't hear about like long-term commitments as much. And if you do, like they normally like they kind of don't last, or like it's just so much different than how it used to be. Like I feel like marriage used to be like more of a standard, like a normal thing that people do. Now it's just like it's crazy to get married these days.
Most definitely. And what I feel about that is, like, I mean, I've been blessed to have parents who were married and still are currently married 25 years. But it's like in all generations, it's not anything perfect, but it's just a huge decline in our generation solely off the fact that it's just such a perception of where you want to go, like such as, for example, in relationships regarding to like social media. You know, it's always a like, oh, why you not posting me? Why you not doing this and that and the third? I feel like
Right.
it's really really how you perceive it, but it's like people perceive it in different ways
And then I
because
also feel
social
like what
media.
you're used to, like you say, like growing up, like you're used to like your parents were married, so like you saw that structure in your home, and that's what you want in your relationships. And other people aren't brought up the same way, so they don't have the same like perspective going into relationships, you know.
Which is very true. Yeah, and I can't hold that in accountability for anybody's upbringing because people, parents, even myself per se, I'm not with the mother of my child, but at the same time, we co-parent and make things work or how it's supposed to work for our son. But it's like, you don't really have loyalty anymore. It's per se.
Yeah.
It's not really more. It's not really about loyalty. It's really about moral values within social media, which is crazy to me.
I think marriage is like a dying art, if you will. Like I really feel like we need to get back to like thinking like that, like big families and like staying together like through thick and thin. Like I think we need to get back to being loyal to each other and like just being there for each other. It's different. People give up easy, very easily.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And that ties in, it really ties into our next topic, but I'm gonna just tie it in anyway. Like the do's and do nots of cheating. And like not even saying like of cheating, like it's a right way to do it. Not saying it's a right or no wrong way to do it. But what is considered cheating to you, Cole? What's considered cheating to you?
To me, cheating is, doing things that you wouldn't, want your spouse to, like doing things that you wouldn't want your partner to do, you know. And of course, every relationship is different. Everyone has different boundaries. Some people are in polyamorous relationships where they can step out and be with other people. Everyone has different situations. But cheating, I feel like when it's established that it's a monogamous relationship, that you two are committed to each other, cheating is definitely when you give yourself to somebody else, whether it be just entertaining them, something slight, whether it actually be you actually having sex with the person. That's cheating, obviously.
Yeah, that's
Like
beyond cheating. You got
people, yeah, like that's like the last step. That's like the final straw. Like you took it there.
And what I have a question for my cousin is, and all the viewers who are viewing in, really the question is like, so like certain things. So is certain things considered cheating? So we in the social media generation. So is liking or retweeting somebody's picture, and it depending on how big it is that considered cheating? Like, so all right, for instance, as a guy, if I liked a female's picture and felt like she looked good or something, but I am in a committed relationship, is that cheating?
No. I don't think that's cheating. I don't think liking somebody's pictures is cheating. I think it becomes inappropriate for your relationship when it's excessive. Maybe when you like too many pictures. Maybe but like if you liking pictures that are old, which means you've been scrolling a little bit. You've been in her pictures. Exactly. When you jump into the DMs, or certain emojis. We all know emojis can have different connotations. Yeah, different. So with that being said, no, liking someone's picture is not cheating, but it's a very fine line. It's like it's flirty. It's flirty, if you will. Not always, because sometimes it's very genuine. Like, oh, I just think she's pretty. Okay, just like whatever. But we all know that can lead to other thoughts. And like, so I think that's the main reason why girls be so like, oh, you like this girl picture, da da da. They be saying that because like, in their minds, it's like, oh, well, you think she's pretty. And it's like, what else are you thinking about her?
That's true as well. Yeah, that's definitely valid points. And
What do you feel like? You feel like it's not?
I feel like, that's very valid. And I feel like it isn't cheating, but you put it in perfect perspective because like the emoji thing, you put in emoji eyes as the smirk and stuff, all that stuff means something.
Yeah, that can get you beat up.
It's a meaning behind it. Like, but I don't like just solely speaking off of me, opinion wise, like off of past relationships. I feel like it's just social media just so glorified way too much, like glorified in a relationship way too much. So it's gonna be problems anyway, regardless if you have social media. Somebody's gonna want that attention, and if somebody is like of a higher stature on social media than the other partner, it's your issue. So like it's kind of it's a tricky situation, and I don't like I'm sure we all been there. I'm not being biased. I'm not one of those hypocrites. I've cheated before, yes, but I was younger. I had to mature and understand really,
why exactly did you cheat?
Honestly, it was really because, to be honest, it's really insecurities within oneself at that time. Really thinking, I wouldn't say, and lacking communication with the other partner about like where we're at and our standpoint, and really at that time was young, being spiteful, and that's really how most cheating is happening, is really because of really temptation of others or yourself within oneself. You're not liking what's going on. You're not really ready to be honest about why you're doing this or why you're doing that, or stepping up to play and actually communicate with your other partner, which I had a lot of growth in. But that was the reasons why. It was never like a social media, and I've always been in that like conversation like, oh, you like somebody's picture, da da da, and I can't really necessarily say it back. And sometimes you want to like, oh well, you like that dude's picture, da 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 da, but you can't do that. You can't use social media to glorify anything. And that's how I feel like we're learning in this stage of social media. It's kind of like in between. Like, have you ever cheated?
I've never cheated. That sounds like a lie. I have, in the past stepped out a little bit because I'm bisexual. So I've been in relationships with women as well. And so with that, when I was with someone, we were kind of in like a complicated, a rocky situation. And towards the end of our relationship, when I knew when she and I both knew things were going downhill, I stepped out and had relations with somebody else. But I think that's the only thing that's ever happened. I didn't consider that cheating. In my mind, I didn't consider it cheating. I didn't think it was cheating because we were already like not together and we felt like we weren't together, but it was just a thing where it was still inappropriate. I don't condone cheating. I don't think it's right. Obviously, I feel like if you're not happy with somebody, then you should just tell them. You should be honest. You should leave. You should try to work on it first, but if it doesn't work out, then I feel like you should make yourself happy. You should go elsewhere.
Most definitely, I totally agree with you. And to piggyback on what she said, and which y'all the viewers probably did not know until she just said it, my cousin is actually bisexual. But in the questions I always ask her or things like that, like not saying what's the difference, but like it depends on preference wise either way. But it's like what is a in relationship in general, but what can a man do for you, or what can a woman do for you that what I'm saying, that really that meets up, like what's the difference between the two of having a woman or having a man in your life?
I think different people offer me different things. When I'm, with women, I think I get a more sense of emotional support, if you will. Like they understand me more emotionally. I can express certain things, and a woman would understand that better than a man. But I feel like with men, they offer me like a lot like balance and more stability, more like it's like it's difficult to explain because I honestly am equally attracted to both men and women. So I have connected with both genders at many points in my life. So they both offer me like just different things, and it's hard to always pinpoint it. But I definitely feel like with men though, specifically we're talking about men right now. I have never been cheated on, not that I know of. And I've never cheated, like I've always just had that issue with women. But it's one of those things where it's not even based on gender, it's just based on the person. And so it has nothing to do with the sex, like, but it's more about that connection with that person and how that is, because that's how I look at it. It like I don't always see gender, I just see who the person is. So
Definitely, I definitely understand that, and when my cousin just put it in that perspective, I kind of understood it more a little bit, because definitely, because I never looked at it in that way. Like, if as a male looking at females, we always ask like, what can a female do that a male can't do? Put it in the perspective of that, and like they have more emotions and stuff like that. That's how we look at it. But at the same time, you have to. It's really a balance between the two. It really is a
yeah,
balance.
because even a man could offer me emotional support, of course.
Exactly.
Like it's just all about that person and how you connect with that person and what feels right at the moment. Like honestly, it was a point I didn't think I would ever be with a man again. I thought I was just a lesbian. I just liked girls and I was going to marry a woman, and that was my mind was made up. But it's like as you grow and as you become open and you experience life and things happen, like you see that things aren't so, in my opinion, things just aren't so black and white, and you can't box yourself in. You have to experience life, and just like I just try to go with the flow, and eventually I just I just started to understand about myself that there's more to life than just like clinging to these labels and just staying so one-minded. Like you have to broaden your horizon. Like whether you're gay, straight, whatever, you have to broaden your horizon, and you have to be open, because life is like it goes beyond us. Like there's more out there
Absolutely.
to connect to. But who do you think cheats more, like men or women?
This conversation might get spicy. Cause look here, I feel like men are more they're more. How can I say this? It's more profound to blame a male for relations or cheating.
That's what
I'm gonna put it say it like that.
Of course.
But females, y'all are some sneaky savages.
We are.
Y'all are sneaky savages, and it's not saying it's like so horrible because there's certain ways to go about certain things, but it's like we get the back slap and y'all get the the secret walk pass through. Like y'all don't get caught. Y'all just that's a big question. I feel like females cheat more. I'm sorry. I'll be biased if I want.
Do you feel like we cheat for? But we definitely cheat for different reasons.
We
cheat for different reasons. I feel like I've only halfway cheated once in my life, but I feel like I cheated because things weren't good at home. You feel me? Like things were rocky.
I feel like,
and it's like it just wasn't working out.
I feel like females cheat. Down, you brought that out. I feel like if a female is cheating and you're that male partner, you might want to be scared. Because look here, females just like certain females, you know what I'm saying. But that's a handful. Most of these females in today's generation, not even today's, just in general, they cheat for a reason. I'm gonna be real with you. It's more so a reason. If you have a disconnect with one another, and that female really just feels the way to cheat on you, it's over. Like, I'm sorry, bro, it's over. Like,
somebody said
I feel like it's over.
If a woman cheats, then it's the man's fault. If a man cheats, it's probably his fault.
Yeah, it's probably his personal. I think that's true.
Shit that he did.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Which is crazy to think about because it's case by case. But I think generally most women don't want to cheat. Like I feel like most women want to be with the person who they're with.
I mean, of course. But don't get it twisted. Females do see somebody that's probably more, not even saying just more attractive, or probably have a conversation with somebody else that is more enlightful within your relationship.
Right, or, even that, because the different stages of cheating, like just to piggyback on what we was talking about earlier, females can also do that slick stuff where like we'll be talking to somebody, just having a conversation, and it don't seem like cheating, don't come across as that, but to us, we're like something in us is being fulfilled because we're talking to this person. They're, like you say, they're enlightening us on something, like they're giving us some conversation that maybe you wouldn't give us, or it's just something like they're talking. It's like they're entertaining us in some different way that may not always be sexual, but it eventually it could always lead to that, of course, but.
And I feel like more, and that's a good thing that you brought up, because I feel like with females cheating, if they cheat, it's more of a gradual thing. It's like they're going through the stages of possibly cheating. Like, it's not like with men, like we go out like, oh, da 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 da, better not say nothing, I don't want to hear nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Da 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 da, trying to figure out situations, all that sort of stuff. I don't care. As a man, I don't care what nobody says. Y'all been through that situation. You sit here and lie to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no biased opinions. I don't want to hear it. Because I know it's been times you go out and stuff like, even females, you go out, you find somebody attractive, da-da-da-da. Yeah, cool, that's cool. I mean, it happens. We're humans. Nobody, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about too, not just trying to like change subjects, but I feel like somebody said this, and I'm sorry I can't really quote who, but it was somebody of a popular stature, and they were saying that marriage, if you don't have that, it was Remy Ma on State of a Culture. Shout out to Remy Ma. On State of the Culture, she said to these females and males as well, she said, if you do not have that ring on your finger, then it's really no ties. But I mean, everybody has their own opinion about it. But, to each his own.
But then that goes back to our first topic, because it's like we should be working towards. I mean, not always, you feel me? Like, we're still young, we still gotta like to live ourselves, we still gotta establish our own careers.
Yeah, that's the underlining.
But it's like, aren't you thinking about your future? Why would you even date somebody if you don't eventually see yourself being with them? Like, if I see this guy who I really want to talk to, it's like instantly a female look at you, she's looking at like 10 years from now with you. And if she can't see it, she's not going to really give you the time of day. Like, she might entertain you a little bit, but it won't be for long, and it won't be the full capacity to what she could actually give you. Like a female looks at you and she automatically looks into her future with you, and she sees whether or not it can work.
Which I find that's crazy.
Period.
That's crazy.
Like,
my cousin has told me this on the countless times. I'm like, bro, that's crazy, and it's not it's actually a good thing, but I feel like it's a good thing that males, their mindset we don't have as males.
Very in the
I feel like
moment.
we're very in the moment, but at the same time it's a pro and con to what they do and what we do as well, because living in the moment is actually, it's better because you don't have a certain perception of what could be. You're actually working in that moment. But at the same time, like looking down the line, it's like you have a goal. You have, just like as goals in your general life, you have to reach that you want to reach. So it's like a goal. It sets a standard, and it it makes it a little difficult, but that's what it's for. It's for that reason. Because if you can't get through tough times, then like it's finito. Anyway. That was an actually good topic. Our last topic is marijuana being accepted more a good thing or bad thing? What you think?
Let's talk about it. Marijuana. I feel as though our society has obviously painted a picture about how how it comes across and what it does to you and why people do it. And I think what that perception is it's for lazy people, who don't want to, who don't have aspirations in life, who don't do anything with their time, who are, and I think it's also been tied to, of course, just like any other drug, it's been tied to, criminal things, and all of that plays a big part into it. But I think now, in recent years, it's becoming more normal to smoke weed, and I think that's because, of course, it's been legalized in DC, and of course there are still a bunch of limitations to it, how much you can and cannot have and everything like that. But I do feel as though the reason why, let me just speak for me. The reason why I smoke it is because, to me, it's a very relaxing sensation. It's and then sometimes it can be very elevating as well. I'm very creative. I make jewelry, so sometimes it really helps me get into that free thinking mindset. It helps me feel very just abstract, if you will. So I feel very comfortable to just kind of make what feels natural and what feels right. But I think there's a downside to it, because sometimes, like I said, people can be attached and kind of use it as more of a crutch, and they use it as more of a
coping mechanism.
Yeah, coping mechanism. And anything that you do excessively is bad for you,
Yep, absolutely. And I totally agree with my cousin to most of the points, actually. And I feel like and mind you, we didn't state that we are from DC and Maryland. Our families are from DC and Maryland, so this is the location where we're at. So we're just talking about that. But just in general, as worldwide, I just feel like it's being more accepted. But like my cousin said, it's such a negative connotation to it. For not saying for no reason, but it's and I was actually talking to my cousin about it earlier. It's really not. It's not when you do it; it's how you do it. It's how you do it, and in what space you're in.
Yeah.
So
right, exactly.
Yeah. So it's kind of confusing.
I've smoked weed being really depressed or mentally not there, and with anything, that's if you go to get a drink when you not feeling all that good about yourself, you're gonna feel worse. You know what I'm saying? Weed is doesn't it it stimulates, it enhances whatever feeling you already have.
Yep.
So if you're not in a good mindset, you should try other things to help yourself feel better, because drugs is just not gonna cut it. We're not sitting here saying we smoke it,
right,
but
absolutely.
It's not one of those things where you're you don't need it to feel this kind of way, But
and mind you, we smoke, but we smoke smart. It's a difference. Trust me, it's totally different. It's where you're at. It's so much to it, but it's like it's really about how smart you being about smoking, you know.
And then just have your shit together.
Right, exactly.
Just have your stuff together so much to the point where you're doing so much throughout the day. At the end of the day, it's kind of like you're winding down time,
exactly.
or if you're like me and you're creative, it helps you get into a comfortable, mindset where you can do your thing. Like it's that's how it works for us.
We don't promote anybody to do it if you don't want to do it or anything of that nature. We do it because we get in a creative mindset. We actually work hard day in and day out. Right. And this is something that just really relaxes us. And it's not a coping mechanism. It's just something that we actually like to do. It's not a hobby, but we just like to do it on our off time when we're chilling. And she, like she said, she has a creative mindset. I've seen her, where we have a session with just us two or something, and she will create a whole collection of her work in which she will show you guys the next time she comes up here. But it's like, it's really about how you really perceive it and how you act upon it.
Yeah.
It's really, nobody really is going to judge you. And I have definitely situations where it's such a pro and a con. It's really just how you go about it, honestly.
Yeah, but it sucks. Like, just think about all the people that are incarcerated because they've gotten caught with a bag of weed. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me, and it's not right. But I think over time it is changing, especially in the District of Columbia. It really is starting to be more accepted, and I think that it should. Like, I just hope that it, just in LA or Seattle, someplace like that, where they literally walk around and they smoke weed, and it's like it's okay. Like, no one cares about it or thinks twice. And I think it should be just as normal as like a cigarette.
And their economy is good. Like, their economy is good. Like, people are not over there complaining or anything like that. And you have the states that, have different views upon it. And to what you were saying, which was perfect, like, just how, and if you think about it in that way, and I have conversations with my friends about this, like, because most of us do smoke, but we drink as well, but not as much. So my thing is, I'm not even trying to compare the two. Both, if you're not capable of doing either, or don't do it. It's other outlets, and it's not saying we just use it as an outlet. We are creative, we write, create, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you would like to drink or smoke, I'm not understanding why is it such a con to smoke when drinking is so normalized in the United States, in the world in general. It's so normalized. You have people dying
put,
behind
drinking and smoking weed on the same spectrum, and it's like no. In my mind, drinking is so much worse. I just went to see Doja Cat 2 days ago, and I had 2 drinks. I felt like, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I only do it on very, very special occasions and when someone's with me, because I'm not a drinker. But it's I feel worse when I drink. I don't like how I feel internally after drinking. Just after having 2 drinks, it's okay. For me, it's weed is obviously safer than drinking. Both can, eventually, if you do it too much, exactly. But weed is better. I'm just gonna say that. Weed is better than drinking.
Yeah,
shouldn't drink.
If you drink, just know your limits. That's all we're saying. Even with smoking, just know your limits, because it is people that pass out, paranoia and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just really about who you are, and stay true to yourself. Don't do it because somebody else is influencing you. And we're not using this podcast to influence anything. We're just using our platform to talk about the topics that's actually talked about in our community.
Yeah, topics that are just relatable to us, and things that we go through the day to day, and things we think about and talk to each other about all the time. We just want to share that with you guys so that y'all can kind of give us your feedback and think about these topics too.
Absolutely. That was the last of our topics today. Today's been a good conversation. We will be making I will be consistent with these podcasts. I will be giving you our times and dates of when I will drop. I'm just starting, so bear with me. But my Instagram is Malik Space Ghost. My Twitter is I Speak Malik. And my Facebook is Daniel FAISON. Yes, that's my first name. And since we're entrepreneurs, this is my brother's hat. Sosa OG on all platforms. SOSAOG. And this is called Be Safe, Be Dangerous. This is his hat.
Yes.
We support out here.
Yep, and my Instagram is Zen ZEN_X_Nick NIK, and then my Twitter is neontrees_. And like I told you guys already, I'm a jewelry designer, and yeah, so hit me up, and we will chat later.
Yes, sir. Podcast 102 will be coming soon. Have a good one.